What up everybody, welcome to the Q&A. Today is Monday. We're gonna kick it off as we usually do each and every week. So just to remind you all, if you want to join in the Q&A, just throw in your question into the comments. It can be Ret Paladin related, Rogue related, anything related. I'm gonna heart that shit, and by next week, on next Monday, you're gonna have your shit answered within the next Q&A session. So let's start it off right now with the first question, which comes from Gab Ruiz. So you saw Savix's Red PvP guide? I did. He got a different build than yours on 3s. He's running Inquisition with baseline 20% haste and 20% crit and 35% mastery somehow. Well, somehow, you know, you really gotta get lucky with the gear, you know, get the proper stats on it. What are your thoughts on it? I'm actually running this shit since last week though. Also, thanks man for your content, love it. Thank you so much, man. Well, the thing about having crit as Ret Paladin, I'm struggling to find partners still for 3v3, so I'm not in a position where I feel comfortable, you know, changing and testing out shit. So for me, the short shot is still haste, the primary one, and then after that, mastery. That being said, I guess you can have crit as a Ret Paladin, and I do agree with the 35% mastery, or just having a lot of mastery. I always say that in my videos as well. I'm not going to try this until I find like a stable, decent team who I can push with, because right now it's still a struggle. I still cannot find, you know, proper teammates to push on to the 3v3 as Ret Paladin, so I'm still stacking up my haste. I don't 100% agree with crit on Ret Paladins, just because one, traditionally Ret Paladins don't have that many mechanics that are built in with crit. Plus, I don't like that crit is being like 50% lower damage in PvP than the rest of the game, right? So I can see it work for, you know, Holy Paladins, which do rely on crits from Holy Shocks to get, you know, their procs. I can see that working for Fire Mages. I can see it even working for Rogues at some point. So there's a lot of classes that have this crit mechanic built into their kit. Ret Paladins just don't have it. Now, if it can work for you, just go for it. It's totally fine. I mean, you tried it out. How did it work for you? I, like on a personal standpoint, don't like having that big ass low cooldown. And the thing is, I said that 18% is the sweet spot. Now, add on top of that all of the enchants and Azerite traits and shit like that, so you can get to somewhere around 25% to 30% of haste, which really amps up your global cooldown, you know, reduces cooldown for a lot of your abilities and makes it a much smoother gameplay. That's what I'm looking for on my Ret Paladin. But you know, huge shout out to Savix, man. That makes it work for him. 100% agree. It just doesn't work for me, okay? Thanks for the question, Gab, man, and keep them coming. Alright, let's move to the next one, which is from one of our Patreons, the biggest Patreon we have, Hellhunter. What do you think, who do you think will die in BFA? I haven't really read into the whole spoiler things that were data mined and shit like that. So I cannot say for sure. My guess, and again, this is without reading the Before the Storm book, without having any knowledge on the lore so far or what has been data mined, I'm probably thinking it's gonna be either Sylvanas, not a death wish here, it's just, you know, my 2 cents in it. Either Sylvanas or, I don't know, maybe Jaina or Anduin. They started this trend off a little bit in Warlords of Draenor. They really amplified this one in Legion, and if they keep to that same pattern and shit, some important character will die in BFA. We'll just have to see. So I'm putting my money on these 3 main characters here, okay? So it's either Sylvanas, Jaina, or Anduin. As much as this would flame everybody up and, you know, fuck up everybody's, you know, attachment to these characters and fuck up the lore and anything, hey man, that's my 2 cents in it. And thanks for the question, man, and for the support. Much love to you. Alright, next one is from No. Playing against mages makes me wish I never renewed my WoW sub. Oh man. By the way, they reverted the horse buff in a matter of hours. Yeah, they did, I know. We're not seeing a mobility buff yet. I got a crazy idea I don't think no one mentioned yet. What if they bring back Warlords of Draenor red playstyle? You know, with the 10-yard range, Templars Verdict, and Hammer of Rat spam. it made fighting against range less impossible than how it is right now. I love Ret and Mod. I wish I could play that again. Oh yeah, me too, man. Actually, we touched upon this several times, either in the Q&As or in the old interviews I had, especially with Savix. So yeah, Warlords of Draenor Ret Paladin was like the best iteration they had for Ret Paladins, right? We had everything we could have wanted, okay? Now, maybe the range Templar's Verdict, you know, was a bit too much because we did have Long Arm of the Law, we did have Emancipate, so we weren't like, I don't think we could have ever been slowed. If we wanted to get to a target, we could have. Now, I'm not saying we should be like that, you know. As much as I love Warlords of Draenor for Ret Paladins, I don't think that is like the 100% the answer. However, bits and pieces from that playstyle can be brought back into the BFA Ret Paladins, and I agree with that. It either can work with ranged abilities, having our melee shit like range, similar how I don't know, acrobatic strikes is it from Outlaw, where they can hit their shit from like a bigger range, something like that. Or as a lot of the, you know, the awesome people from our community said, just make that fucking horse remove slows, snares, roots, whatever, and that would be a good start. Okay, that's like a little change that can help out a lot. Okay, but I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry you wished you never renewed your sub, man. It's not only mages out there. You just gotta keep on fighting the good fight, brother. Thank you for the question. No, and keep them coming. Okay, next one is, whoa, a big one. Radovan Kovacic. Hey bro, for start, great vids. Thank you, man. The horse buff was reverted. Yes, even that I thought it wasn't a good idea. Better have immune horse, because that's the only thing we can get to these pesty frost mages. Yes, it's just impossible to cast horse and then hand the freedom without getting spell steal in a second. So my advice request would be to give us immune horse. I agree. For my questions, okay, I hate that when I cast Repentance and get interrupted, I have silence on Holy School. For now I play only 2s. I think it would be great if they take it out of this school or make it instant cast as Monk's Incapacity. What do you think about this? Well, we actually had it instant back in Cataclysm, and it was a little bit overpowered when it was instant because, mind you, it's still like an 8-second incapacitate. I would see it work, but removing it from the Holy School, it's basically what we have. I mean, Paladins are, I think, the only class that have only one school. So on whatever you get interrupted, that's it, okay? I don't think they would be able to make it out of the Holy School. But here's the thing, okay? I don't even like want it instantly, but we can, like, if we're talking strictly Repentance, we can make the cast time a bit more lower, okay? I know where you're getting from. You get interrupted a lot. I mean, if you're not getting interrupted, you're gonna get LOS, okay? So maybe make the cast time a bit slower. I would be cool with that. It's fine. What do you think about Savix's way to stack crit instead of fates? He caps 20% hair with Inquisition. Have you tried it? Okay, we tackled that on the previous question. Again, man, I cannot afford to test out shit like that. I'm still, from my experience so far in BFA and in the BFA beta, having like good amounts of haste, and on top of that, adding enchants and procs and shit like that makes a really smooth gameplay, and that's what I'm looking for. Having lower cooldowns, you know, being able to throw in more damage in with the help of haste. That's my thing right now until I find like a proper stable team and I can experiment some more. So that's my 2 cents in it. Third, Paladin is the only melee class that doesn't have instant connect to the target, like Warrior's Charge, Decay Grip, Rogue's Blink or Shadow Step, Monk's Roll, Demon Hunter Jumps, which are all on low cooldowns, around 20 seconds. So what about give us back at least 3 seconds, 60% run speed after Judgment? Yep, that was more or less Long Arm of the Law. Or the Telarian's Charge, as you said in the last video. That would be awesome, man, if they would bring that back, but I'm sure they're not going to do it. Or at least not spell steal, Hand of Freedom. Any opinion on this? By the way, greetings from Slovakia, and keep those vids coming. Oh, our brothers from Slovakia, salute! On the thing with having a charge-like thing for Ret Paladins, it's really debatable in the sense that a lot of people flame about this shit because, you know, Paladins traditionally didn't have charge, which is true. We need some sort of a gap closer, okay? Now, again, Horse being immune to slows and, you know, roots and shit can be a gap closer. Okay, it can work if it had that mechanic baked into it. So far we don't, so we basically have nothing to catch up to a target. That's it. Of course, in different matchups, that argument doesn't really stand up. So I'm still sticking to my guns on this. I don't think they're gonna bring Turalian's charge back. I just think if they bring the horse being immune to slows and roots and shit, that could be our gap closer and that could work. Thank you so much for the question, Radovan boy. Keep them coming. Alright, next question is from Wufang Gaming. Hello, big fan over here. It's not exactly a question, but every time Blizzard starts to explain why Reds are with low mobility and low uptime on the target, they say it's because we are hybrid class and we have other things to do like buffing, healing, etc. That's true. But what about Druids? They are the biggest hybrid, range DPS, melee DPS, heal and tanking. They have great mobility, great CC, great defenses, great uptime on target, great off heals and high damage. That's actually true. I never thought about Druids like that. What is your thoughts on this, and do you think Blizzard even is trying to help Reds to have good time in arenas, or maybe they don't have a clue on what to do? Well, it's hard to go into comparing hybrids against each other. You know, that's a dangerous field to go into. Of course, Druids have their flaws, as Reds do, obviously. But if Blizzard wants Reds to have a good time in arenas, I don't know if that's like specifically what they're thinking about. See, the thing is, I'm looking a lot on forums and shit, and I looked on the beta and stuff like that, and on the Red Discord. There are actually some really great designers working on the Red Paladin class. The ones that actually spoke out at some point, at least on the Discord, on the Hammer of Red Discord, Red Paladin Discord. So they have like really good intentions in mind, but you have to take note that even though I don't like these excuses and I don't agree with these explanations, making a change like mobility to Red Paladins, okay, even the smallest amount, like we're talking like non-stop about this, making the horse immune to immune clear, and maybe making it, no, just make it immune for 3 seconds to slows, stuns, roots, whatever, right? This could have potentially huge impact on the PvE side of things, right? Because that's a general talent, and specifically they don't want Red Paladins to be that mobile in PvE environments, in dungeons and raids, okay? Because they can dish out huge single target damage, okay? When they have a lot of encounters where, you know, there's not a lot of moving around, they can shine. So that's a really huge point for Red Paladins. But when there's a lot of moving around, that's a weak one. AoE is still debatable. So I don't know if they're like consistently looking for this. Like me personally, I'm tweeting Chris Kalicki like once a week to ask him if they have any plans, any ideas, any thought about Red Paladins in PvP. I still haven't gotten a reply yet. Chris Kalicki, by the way, is one of the senior PvP designers in BFA. So maybe at some point we'll get some answers, right? In comparing it to Druids, I agree, man. I agree. They have everything they need, but they do have flaws. Okay, they can die a bit more faster. That would be one thing. Of course, we can bring the argument that, you know, paladins are plate wearers. You know, these guys have leather, and there's a lot of things that can compensate. You know, an ability can counteract another, and so on and so forth. But on the grand scheme of things, as hybrids, yes, Druids have it much more better than paladins, but they always did. And when we're talking about mobility you know, damage, it always has been like that. You know, I don't have a problem with that, okay? I'm just saying, hey dude, just a teeny weeny change to our mobility with that goddamn pony and we will be good, okay? Nobody would complain whatsoever. But yeah, man, good argument here. Thank you so much for the question. We'll keep them coming, brother. Okay, next one is from Adam. Hey Marcelian, thanks for taking the time to go over my questions. Sure thing, dog. Seriously love all the vents, thank you. You mentioned possibly making a video about finding other classes. I saw you had a duel video, anything like that. Now that it's not beta, that duel video is so old. Side note, what do you think of the new Pally animations on the PTR? Good question. I don't like the wings one. I don't like the flash of light one, okay? I'm super open to change. I embrace change. But the wings that are like, you know, watered down like that, I just don't like it. Okay, they could have made a million other options with the same graphics and animations, but have those wings like raise up. you know, avenging rat, you know, not avenging, you know, washed down pigeon. That's it's like a pigeon, whatever. Now, when it comes to making a video against other classes as Ret, I don't know if I'm gonna do that specifically because it's quite hard to find players that are actually good to do duels against, and I don't know if that has a lot of appliance on 3v3 arenas or 2v2 arenas or BGs. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna do a video talking about the most important abilities and cooldowns you have to watch out for and how could you react to those for every class. So let's say you're from the perspective of a Ret Paladin, when somebody pops a specific cooldown or they throw in a specific ability, then you would know how to react to that with your ability or your cooldown or your positioning and shit like that. That's the plan, okay? Hopefully it's gonna be done this week. Thank you for all the question and input, Adam boy. Keep them coming. Okay. Next one, another huge one. It's from Alpha Fan 11. Recently got back to WoW after a long break. Welcome back, boy. Last I played competitive arena was around Wrath of the Lich King before the Holy Power was added in. Red feels like a new class. I bet it does, especially for you, my man. Something happened the other day that kind of irked me. I was playing 2v2 with a Boomkin, and the second we started losing, he went into a fit about my talent choices and told me to change this and do that. I'm running very similar talents to yours with Execution Sentence, Wake of Ashes, and Hammer of Wrath for range. Of course, he basically told me that all these were trash and told me to pick up all passive talents. What? What is your take on the backseat gaming mentality? Because we had initial success before the change. I did what he asked, but things didn't get any better. Do I just need to adapt or stay firm with my own playstyle talent choices? Also, what are your thoughts on websites such as Icy Vase and Skill Cap as far for quickly improving play? I don't know about Icy Vase that much, but Skill Cap I could recommend it 100%. I used to be like a subscriber to Skill Cap back in the days. They currently they put out a lot of useful videos on classes and shit. So you know, Skill Cap, go for it, man. They have like multi-glads over there, really good explained guides. You know, they make a lot of sense, really good production value. So yeah, I would say Skill Cap will help. Now regarding you adapting your talents, of course you have to adapt your talents, but not adapting because your partner said so. And of course, does your partner play Ret Paladin? Does he have any experience on Ret Paladins? Because the passive talents aren't really, you know, what you have to go for. I mean, you want to raise your skill cap a little bit, man. Take the active ones, and traditionally those perform better. I mean, don't listen to me, okay? Savage just put out a guide. Look at, you know, what he has to say about the talents. You know, it's basically more or less what we do, or you and me do with the talents, okay? Look on skill cap on Mystic. You know, he talks about the talents as well. Passive ones, not really, man. When we're talking about adapting talents, it's more adapting to what you're facing or what you're playing with. Let's say you're not playing with you're playing with a Boomkin, right? He's not human, so maybe Blessing of Sanctuary would be really beneficial for your Boomkin. I don't know. And let's say he goes to Resto. Now that would be 100% super beneficial. You're fighting against, I don't know, a Frost Mage. Of course, it's going to take Law and Order and Hammer of Reckoning, at least, and Hammer of Wrath in the talents. Let's say, I don't know, you're fighting on Holy Decay and Assassination Roll. I don't know. Of course, you're going to take, you know, the Cleansing talent, you know, to dispel poisons on everybody. So that's the way to adapt, not because your partner says, hey man, your talents are trash, okay? You have to go with your experience, and if you don't have that much experience, you know, recently at least, then see what other people say about these talents with a bit more experience, at least in BFA and Legion, okay? So that's my 2 cents in it, man. Thank you so much for the question, man. Keep it coming. Okay, and we're getting here for the last question. Usual Pigeon. Hey man, great vids. Thank you. I am a pretty casual player, but I have always loved PvP and it's always been my go-to activity. Pretty new to Arena as I only started towards the end of Legion, looking to start to push 3s with my pals, and they play a Demon Hunter and a Resto Druid. You have played a similar comp and it Tims, thanks a lot. Well, if you're gonna play Ret Paladin, Demon Hunter, Resto Druid, I think that could work. You're gonna have a ton of fun with it for sure. The thing is, he's a Druid, so always take Blessing of Sacrifice. That would help him a lot, you know, for fears and stuns and silences. Playing with Demon Hunter, well, Demon Hunter do slow with their Glaive Toss, So I don't know if the build necessarily would involve Law and Order, so maybe you can push up for more damage over there. You just have to adapt and see. But usually you have to be sure that you're gonna coordinate with your Demon Hunter. Let's say when you get into trouble, just have him, you know, pop that darkness on you and shit like that, you know, do cross CC, AoE stuns, shit like that. So it's not necessarily a tips on how to play your Red Paladin, it's more you guys have to get used to each other's playstyle, know a lot of what of your abilities do, and you should be good. I think it could work, definitely. I mean, Demon Hunter right now is really, really strong, and I can see it working with Paladin for sure. So let me know how it works for you, man. But that's it. Thank you so much for the question, man. And thank you all for all of your questions placed in. I had a blast going through all of them. Hopefully you're gonna see more on the next week on the Q&A. Also, a huge shout out to our wonderful Patreons, Hill Hunter, Rumple Foreskin, Joshua Elliott, Kogo Alfer, Syrup, and Helldope. Thank you guys so much for helping us out. It means the world to us. And if you would like to support us in that way, Patreon link is in the description. Have a great week ahead, guys. Peace!